Hello everybody. Hello to the organization, and thank you for having me here today. And I'm going to speak about design as a key enabler of change. And why this? And this was because when Daniel said to me the main topic of this conference, I was thinking that maybe BBVA at some points, some years ago, asked for themselves those questions because we really worked on the last years to really use the ability of design, the ability of facilitate, organize, and communicate the change to shape the finance of our present. In some way, the finance of our context in Spain and in the country where we have been working. And we did this using those moments of change, those important key moments, bringing on the table the key participation of the design team. And before of that, I'm going to speak a little bit about BBVA. We are a bank, we are a large bank with more than 85.1 million of clients, more than 100,000 employees, and we are in 25 countries. And at BBVA, design matters, and we have one of the biggest design team. I think that for a company that started in Spain, we are more or less 240 inside and 234 outside, like an extern team. And I think that design matters, and we had this opportunity of, in some way, use those abilities of design to change or to work to change the culture of the company. And I have to say something more about BBVA. We are a company with a heritage. We are a company that have more than 100 years of history. I think that is near or 200 years of history. And starting starting this history, I have to go to 2007, because that was the moment, and we have here another letter, and we have, the company at this moment, in 2007, create the first design, the first inside design team. I bring here this letter because at this very first moment, they have this goal of use design as a way of production. That in some way, and if we think in the other letter that we saw here, is one of the lowest level of the ladder. But at this moment, we really don't know which one are the steps to achieve this goal that we're seeing on the screen. That is trying to make design as part of the DNA of the company. And I think that maybe it's another way to say the same thing that we have seen on the other speeches. I think that we have opportunity moment in 2012, sorry, because there was the moment that started what I call the age of digital for us. And this was the moment when the top management of the company bets on digital transformation. Because, as you remember, the people used to go to office before, and now the thing changes. And we use this moment of change, to really put on the table our ability as designers. And we have the support of the top management. And I think that this is important to say, because you can change the culture of a company or help change without the support of the top management. And this thing happened to us. And when I was preparing, she's not Mark Twain, okay? She's Ursula K. Le Guin. She's an amazing sci-fi writer. She writes essays. She writes a fantasy book too. I highly recommend her. You can, when I finish this chat or finish the conference, you can go to the bookstore and look for their books because they are very good. And when I was preparing this speech, that quotation brings always in my mind, because she said in one of her essays that before the tool that forced energy outward, we made the tool that made energy home. And she was speaking about the humankind. She was speaking about how the humanity before creating a sword to conquer a castle, create the vessel to bring the seed home and make the energy. And in some way, at this moment, where we were in the middle of this digital transformation, we start thinking at the same way that Ursula K. Le Guin, because we need to work in two tracks of work. We need to create a new digital relationship with our clients, because we are doing new things for them. They used to go to the office, and now we are saying that we are going to do some things through a mobile app, through a website. And in another hand, we, as a design team, we need to help the organization to be more digital. Because, as I explained before, we are an organization with a heritage, with a way of doing things, and our main goal is to make the design part of the DNA of the company. And this is the meaning of this is that we have to change some things inside. And thinking on this, thinking on the very first track, how are we going to create this new digital relationship, our vision was something like this: to help people make better decisions around money, transforming it into a source of distress, into a source of opportunity. That it really means that we are simplifying the complexity. We are working as UX designer to simplify the complexity. And I have just 2 examples of this. One of them is how are we simplifying the moment of saving money, because the user have some problems to save money. One of the problems maybe is they don't have money to save. The other one is maybe they are not in the habit to save money. And for this, we create a feature that could automate saving through user programmation. You create a rule, and you put your money every month, for example, in another account. And this is a way of don't have to think in saving. This is a way of simplify the complexity. Another example is when we created a payment method to pay using QR codes. And that simplified the complexity during the COVID when the people don't want to use cash to pay. And in some countries where we are working, there is not as easy as in another to use, for example, a card or your mobile to pay. And I think that this is a way to explain how we simplify the complexity. Just those 2 examples, just 2 of them. In the other hand, I explained that we have to help the company, we have to help the organization to be more digital. Our mission here was something like that. But again, we're speaking about simplify the complexity. We are speaking about help them to be more digital. And I want to be a little bit slower at this moment because I'm going to speak about 2 examples that help us to help the organization to change their mind, help the organization to change the way that they were doing things. I think that Marcela explains a little bit about this example. You can see here one of my colleagues, Disagrado, and he's teaching somebody something, no? And this is part of the program that we call Design Ambassador. That is a way to teach another people in the organization, people from the legal team or the tech team or the business people, how to use design thinking methodologies, how to start using design technique on their own projects. If we want to change the culture of a company, we as designers, we thought at this moment that we could help them learning something that they could use on their projects because they want that idea of create some awareness of design, create some hunger of design by doing, because when we teach them, they come back to their projects, and now more than 4,000 employees have passed through this program, and they are using those design thinking methodologies. Another one is more related with this design, this idea of creating a design system. I'm going to stop here a little bit. Okay. I think that everybody here understands what are the benefits of creating a design system. I am speaking about a visual design system. And the benefits are that you can work faster, that you can work in an efficient way, you can create an experience that could be global in a simplest way than in others. But I think that those are only the superficial benefits of creating a design system. There is another benefit that could help you to change your narrative as designer, because it could help you to, when you have a conversation, when you have an argument with another people in the company, you could use points that are more related with saving costs, saving money, and saving time. And we did this way of measure the use of the design system. Every quarter, we are capable to measure the percentage of reuse of the components, and we create those reports that we are uploading in a website. And this is a way of, again, changing the culture of the company, because we are changing our position in the company. OK, at the beginning, I showed this letter. We are starting at the very lowest level, using design as a way of production. At the end, we have this idea of making design part of the DNA of the company. And I show you some of the steps that we follow. And you can see there a level that says here we are at this moment. And it looks like that we are very, very, very near to achieve this goal. But as our top leader of design said, Marga Barrera, she said that there is a gap there, because this letter probably have a lot of steps more. This letter have a gap there that we don't know now what are the next steps. But we have to work to understand which one are those steps that we have to follow. And I think that this has to be with that idea of the maturity of the company. And probably our next step are going to let us to be a little bit near of this final goal. And if I have to summarize the first part of the presentation, is with this. I think that for us to shape the present of the finance means to work, we have to design outward, but also inward inside the organization. You have to work on these two tracks, because you really need to change the culture of the company if you want to change the ideas or the way of or the customer relationship with your users and with your clients. OK. At this point, in the moment that we are living now, we are asking ourselves, what does this mean now? What is our role as a designer now? And we can say that, as my friend Andres Botero said, this is a colleague at the company, we are living BUCA times. What does that mean? That means that we are living in a time, in a moment, that are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And this is going to have an impact in our customer relationship model. This is going to have an impact in the way that we create relations with our users. I'm going to show 3 examples. One trend could be that one. There is a lot of trends, but one of them could be that one, and say that maybe there is no longer separation between the real and the digital. And some of the artists and celebrities understand how they have to do the things in those new spaces. For example, you are seeing here the Marshmello first Fortnite concert, and he is creating a new relationship with their followers. And we, as the financial industry, we need to understand how do we have to be there on those news spaces. The second one is a more physical thing, is that the climate change is real, and our position as a bank is relevant. We really have to have a position to face this as a bank and as a designer. For example, as a designer, we can create those tools that let to the user and the client make sustainable decisions, for example, and our bank have to have a strategy to deal with this position on sustainability. And the third one is that the consumers demand to the companies do and do not that say do. What does that mean? That means that the consumer, they could cancel us because of our actions. And we, as a financial industry, as brands, we need to understand this, and we need to understand that there is some new principle or certain principles that are now in force that are really creating a better world, and we need to be on the right side or on the good side on this. Because I think that the good position, but also because the consumers demand us this. And thinking on this, thinking on this idea that happened in 2007, where we were simplifying the complexity, maybe now, our role now is more related to explaining the complexity and doing this thinking outward, but also inward the organization. In 2007, we say that we want to simplify digital processes, for example, when we are creating those new digital relationships. And to the organization, we say something like, we need to help them to be more digital. Now, thinking on all this idea that we are living in a volatile, uncertain, complex moment, we have to ask ourselves if what is the impact of this on the creation of new relationship model, and we have to understand how can we help the organization to explain that complexity. If I have to summarize all this speech, I can say that shaping the future of finance means that our role as designers may be to explain the complexity, focusing outward but also inward inside the organization. But this is just a sentence. And probably all of you have a lot of questions about this. And thinking on these three scenarios, I invite you to think together on the networking area and do some kind of exercise, have a conversation to answer those questions. How can we explain the complexity in a context where consumers demand that companies do and do not say they do, or when the climate change is real and our position as a bank is relevant, or when there is no longer separation between the real and the digital. That's all. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you meet me later.
Thank you, Juan. As usual, I have some questions for you.
Of course.
So the first one is, how do you spread design thinking to stakeholders who are a bit more resistant to change?
Yeah. Okay, these design ambassador programs, I think that have a good thing. That is when somebody passed through the master classes, come back to their team, and I think that they spread that idea. We are not spreading that idea. They show their colleagues how using design thinking is going to help them in their projects, because they bring all those methodologies and apply directly on the project that they are working.
So they have to try it themselves, and then they spread it out.
Yes, they are really design ambassadors.
Yeah. And what happens when they don't want to participate?
We don't obligate, but the boss of the bank
says you have to do it.
We have the support, and I think that that's important. We have the support of the top management of the organization about the benefits of using design inside the company.
So that's super important. You have the buy-in from the top, and
yes,
it's an imperative. Super nice. There is another question, different topic, is related to design systems.
Okay.
How do you measure the usage of the design system?
Yes, I think that I didn't explain. Okay, every quarter, we divide the year in 4 quarters, and every quarter at the end, all the design teams that finish a feature have to use a plugin, a widget, and that widget is capable to measure the percentage of reuse, and then we convert this percentage of reuse in the time that we are saving and the money we are saving by this time. I don't remember the formula, but you can find online. We have an article in Medium, and you can find online.
So if you are more interested on that, please go to Medium and look for...
Yeah, or ask me by LinkedIn.
Perfect. So let's see if we have any questions here on site. If so, please raise your hand.
There's one there.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say that I really enjoyed your presentation, and I'm thinking about how it is also applying on ourselves. Like, first you have to know yourself before you get to know other people.
Thank you very much. We can meet later if you want to participate in the exercise.
Any other questions? Wolfgang, can we, or Christina, yeah.
Hello, thanks for the presentation. How do you enforce, or do you enforce design system usage?
Okay, I think that every designer that arrived as a new part of the team at BBVA, we have a lot of documentation and a lot of videos showing how to use. And I think that the best way is because we have something like a separate part of the design team that have to look if we are using or not. And when you have some kind of doubt of using this design system, you can ask them, and they help you to use, and they explain you to how to use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.